First story, we were in this thing. Or so I thought. We were young, you know. But honestly, I couldn't tell if I was the main guy or just some side piece. One day, she hands me her phone, asks me to respond to a text from her friend. No biggie, right? But then, her phone's buzzing with texts from different people. She tells me to handle the first one, so I'm like, sure, might as well tackle the rest. So I'm sitting there, texting away, and she's getting dolled up for our date. Then, I see it. One of the texts is from this dude, just out of the slammer. I start scrolling through, and guess what? Turns out she's seeing him too. Along with me. But she never mentioned yours truly. I put two and two together real quick. Whenever she said she was working and couldn't meet up with him, she was actually with me. This had been going on for months, man. I also figured out that when she said she was late, and we weren't even doing the deed, she was hooking up with this guy. Yeah, I know, sounds kinda creepy, but I like to keep tabs on my girl, you know. So I took screenshots of their chats, about 2 months worth, and sent them to myself, making sure she didn't catch wind of it. I even deleted the evidence, so it seemed like I hadn't done a thing. Oh, and I almost forgot to mention, I marked them as unread, just so she wouldn't know I'd seen it all. So, fast forward a bit. We go on our date as planned, like nothing's wrong. But about a week later, I knew she'd be busy, so I swing by her parents' place to spill the beans. I drop the bombshell that I won't be seeing her anymore, even though she doesn't have a clue yet. Man, her folks were livid with me, thinking I'm breaking up with her through them. But I managed to calm them down enough to spill the tea. I lay out exactly what I found, show them the screenshots I took, and suggest they check her phone to see if there's more dirt they don't know about. And that, my friend, is the whole shebang. After I dropped the bombshell on her parents about their daughter's little cheating escapade, things got real awkward, real fast. I mean, who wouldn't feel awkward after hearing their princess was playing the field with not just me, but a whole squad of other guys? Anyway, they didn't want to believe it. I get it. Who wants to accept their kids out there playing the field like a pro athlete, right? So they're giving me the stink eye, probably thinking I'm just making stuff up to mess with their heads. And let me tell you, it got awkward real quick. So I cut the conversation short and bailed. I mean, who wants to stick around for that drama, right? But get this, a few months down the line, who do I see in my checkout line? Yep, you guessed it, her parents. And what do? They offer me a big ol' apology for not believing me. Turns out, after I dropped the truth bomb, they did some digging of their own. And guess what they found? Their little angel was not only seeing me, but like 6 other dudes. And get this, she had plans to run off with some other dude, not just once, but twice. Talk about a player, am I right? So fast forward a bit, she ends up getting knocked up by one of these guys, who conveniently ends up back in the slammer. But wait, there's more. The guy she ran off with, he bails on her too, leaving her high and dry. So now she's got a bun in the oven, no roof over her head, and her folks are like, girl, you need to sort your life out. So they give her some conditions, like get a job, take care of the kid, and for heaven's sake, don't go popping out more babies until you're hitched. But does she listen? Nope. Instead, she mooches off her folks, pretending to job hunt or be at work, while they pick up the slack with the kiddo. And just when you thought it couldn't get crazier, she goes and gets pregnant with twins by the dude she was going to run off with. I mean, talk about a soap opera, right? So her folks have had enough of her shenanigans and kick her to the curb, handing her some cash for an apartment and a ride. But surprise, surprise, she can't hold down a job to save her life. Constantly missing shifts, showing up late, breaking rules. You name it, she's done it. So she ends up crashing with baby daddy number 2, but he kicks her to the curb too, after she pulls some bogus abuse accusations on him. Long story short, she's bouncing around like a pinball, burning bridges left and right. She even crashes with a former buddy of mine while he's out of town, but he kicks her out too after she pulls some more false accusations. I mean, talk about a hot mess of a relationship, right? But hey, at least I dodged that bullet and had a hand in getting her kicked out of her parents' place, right? Rewind a couple of years, and there she is, popping back into my life like a bad penny. Hopeful, thinking we can mend our broken relationship and move forward. But boy, was I in for a shock. Instead of a heartfelt reconciliation, She explodes on me like a ticking time bomb, launching every insult she can think of, accusing me of abandoning children that aren't even mine, despite her refusal to entertain the idea of a simple DNA test to prove it. And let me set the record straight. I've never fathered any kids. But she's got a knack for painting me as the villain in her twisted narrative. Now, brace yourself for the kicker. This whole mess unfolds just before my grandpa passes away. 3 months prior, to be precise. So fast forward to March, and I find myself shouldering the responsibility of organizing his memorial service. And here's the kicker, there hasn't been so much as a whisper between me and her since our epic fallout, 3 weeks post-breakup. So picture my disbelief when she waltzes into the memorial service like she owns the place. There I am, trying to hold it together, paying my respects to the man who shaped me into who I am today. The one who carried my secrets and stood by me through thick and thin. And then in she walks, all self-righteous and indignant, berating me for not extending an invitation to her, like it's some unforgivable sin. She goes on and on about how it exposes my true character, my refusal to engage with her. Can you believe the audacity? But wait, it gets even juicier. She decides to make a scene during the service, raising a ruckus like a tornado in a teacup, refusing to leave, causing a disruption that even the solemnity of the occasion can't contain. Had to call in the cavalry, the cops, to escort her out, as she clung to the delusion that she had every right to be there, professing her undying love for my grandpa as if it absolved her of all wrongdoing. Give me a break. In hindsight, I should have pressed charges, slapped her with a restraining order, tossed her behind bars to spare myself and everyone else from her toxic theatrics. But hey, at least I got my slice of revenge. Our relationship took a nosedive after that final showdown. She started spinning lies faster than a spider weaving its web, gaslighting me at every turn. I started to catch on, especially when she conveniently claimed she didn't want to see me. But that last argument? It was the straw that broke the camel's back. She unleashed a tirade of insults and accusations, painting me as the embodiment of evil. I couldn't stomach another second of it. So I made a swift exit, retreating to the sanctuary of my own home, leaving her drama in the rear-view mirror where it belongs. Second story, I could go on and on about this, spill all the details, but hey, I'm a little tipsy and feeling too lazy to dive into it right now. You know how it is. But let's rewind a bit. My ex-girl, she used to be the bomb, you know. Cool as a cucumber. But then she hits college, joins a sorority, and bam. She's off to the races, partying like there's no tomorrow. It's a tale as old as time, really. We all go a little crazy when freedom knocks on our door. Now, here's where things get interesting. I had this buddy from high school, right? We were tight, bonded over our love for gaming. We'd take risks, gamble with each other on those CS, go cases. And let me tell you, I always ended up on the losing end. But hey, that's life. Anyway, this guy, he's got a heart of gold, I'm telling you. So, lo and behold, he ends up at the same college as my ex. Small world, right? Now, picture this. One wild night at a party, my buddy spots my ex sneaking off into a bathroom with some random dude. And they ain't in there swapping Scrabble tiles, if you catch my drift. Nah, they're holed up in there for a good 20 minutes, getting cozy or whatever. And let me tell you, I trust this guy with my life. He's as solid as they come, a true blue friend. So, next day rolls around, and he hits me up, spills the whole tea. And man, I ain't gonna lie, I'm steaming. Deep down, I knew it was true, but hearing it confirmed, that's a punch to the gut, let me tell you. But I gotta give it to him, he owned up, apologized like a champ. So I thanked him for being straight with me, told him to keep it on the down low. Now, let's fast forward a bit. 5 months down the line, and my ex's mom just finalized her divorce. At this point, right, haven't even mustered up the courage to confront my ex about her little cheating escapades. Yeah, I'll admit it, I was shallow as a puddle, drawn in by her looks and wild spirit. I mean, come on, who wouldn't be? Yeah, call me an idiot, I probably deserve it. Now, let's set the scene. Picture this, it's the weekend, and my ex's mom decides to paint the town red with her wine-loving crew. We're all kicking it back at their place, knocking back a few, getting properly wasted. Now my ex, she's a fiend for smoking. Me, I dabble. But it hits me different, you know? Makes me want to hit the hay, not stick around for the party. So I usually steer clear. But not her. Oh no. She's puffing away like there's no tomorrow, one after the other, till she's zonked out, barely able to see straight. Next thing I know, she's stumbling off to crash upstairs. Now, here's where the real fun begins. I'm just chilling in the aftermath of the chaos, enjoying my buzz, kicking back with a drink in hand, and flicking on the TV. Decided to go with a classic good old Entourage. And then, bam! Door slams open like a gunshot, and who walks in? None other than my ex's mom. Now, let me tell you, she's always been a hoot. Not a perfect 10 in the looks department, but hey, she's got that charm, that spark. Always down for a good time, always up for a drink. So there I am, lounging on the sofa, soaking in the glow of the TV, and I give her a little nod, raise my glass in greeting. Smooth operator, that's me. Crack a few jokes, keep things light. And wouldn't you know it, she plops down next to me, all lively and boisterous, slurring her words like it's nobody's business. And then she hits me with it. How's your night, Johnny? Like she's yelling it from the rooftops. I shoot back, telling her how her daughter and I were just knocking a few back, but she couldn't hang, so she hit the sack. And then, get this, she laughs, leans in all conspiratorial-like, and says, if you touch my tequila. I'm sitting there, glass in hand, sharing space with the remnants of some whiskey, probably leftovers from my ex's old man stash. And then, out of the blue, she pipes up, talking about hitting the tequila. It's barely 1 a.m., mind you, but she's all like, my cycling class ain't till 1 p.m., let's keep the party rolling. And there I am, caught between the angel and devil on my shoulder, wrestling with the idea of where this night might lead. I mean, my ex did me dirty, but diving into her mom's territory? That's a whole new level of risky business. But hey, I'm feeling gutsy, so I go with it. Next thing I know, we're tossing back shots like it's nobody's business. Round after round, that bottle's getting emptier by the minute. I'm feeling buzzed, bordering on wasted, but damn if it ain't worth it. It's like payback for my ex's betrayal, you know. Long story short, that bottle's gone, and I'm seeing stars. Not to mention, I hit the climax twice, if you catch my drift. Fast forward 3 weeks, and I'm pulling the plug on that whole mess of a relationship. Never crossed paths with the mom again, but walking away from that house felt like I was walking on clouds. It's like I finally got my sweet taste of vindication, and man, it tasted good. So here's to moving on and leaving the past in the rear-view mirror. Cheers to that. Heard story me, 41 years young, and my girlfriend, a sprightly 31. We've been rocking this thing for a little over 2 years now. Now let me set the scene for you. When we first crossed paths, we were both nursing some battle scars from our previous relationships. I won't dive into the nitty-gritty details of my ex's antics right now, but let's just say he's a real piece of work. Let's call him X for simplicity's sake. Total train wreck, that one. Couldn't hold down a job to save his life, and treated my girl like dirt, both emotionally and physically. Messed with her head big time, despite the fact that she's drop-dead gorgeous. Classic loser, through and through. But hey, they've got a kid together, so there's that. But don't worry, we'll circle back to that later. Now, let's fast forward a bit. After my own divorce, I dusted myself off, shook off the drama, and got my life back on track. Took on life's curveballs like a champ, and now? Well, let's just say I've got my ducks in a row. But let me tell you about this gem of a woman I stumbled upon. From the moment she sauntered into my world, I was hooked, couldn't take my eyes off her. Our first hangout? Instant sparks, my friends. I could sense right away that she was going to shake things up in the best possible way. And let me tell you those feelings. They were mutual. We became like glue, inseparable from day one, riding that honeymoon phase like it was our own personal roller coaster. Living it up, soaking in every moment, you know. We shared laughs, made memories, formed a bond so deep it felt like we'd known each other for lifetimes. And let me tell you, the love? It was pure, unfiltered joy. Now, here's the kicker, her ex. Yeah, the guy's still in the picture, at least in some capacity. And let me tell ya, it's been a bit of a bumpy road. I mean, I get it. They've got history, a kid together, the whole shebang. But man, oh man, does he have a knack for getting under her skin. His mere presence has this uncanny ability to flip her mood like a light switch. And yeah, it's made me feel a bit, well, uneasy, to say the least. Their past, his influence, it's all cast a bit of a shadow on our own relationship, if you catch my drift. But hey, love's a battlefield, right? And I'm in it for the long haul, no matter what curveballs get thrown our way. Me and my girl, we've been going strong for a solid 2 years. And let me tell you, things were smooth sailing for the most part. She's always been open, transparent, you know. No secrets, no shady business. Her phone's an open book. She's always where she says she'll be. And we've even got this whole location tracking thing going on. Her idea. Not mine, but hey, I'm cool with it. We're like two peas in a pod. Inseparable. Never spent a night apart in all that time. But here's where things take a bit of a turn. Lately, I've been noticing some changes in her demeanor, especially when it comes to her ex. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not one to get all worked up over past relationships. But something about the way she's been acting around him, it's got me feeling a bit uneasy. Suddenly, she's all buddy-buddy with the guy, chatting away like they're old pals, even heading over to his place for these so-called child exchanges. Normally, I wouldn't bat an eye at that kind of stuff. But here's the kicker, while she's getting all cozy with him, she's been pulling away from me. Like, majorly. We're talking arguments left and right, tension thicker than molasses, and don't even get me started on our, intimate life. Let's just say, it's seen better days. Then, about 2 weeks back, all hell broke loose. She comes stumbling home after a night out with her buddies, completely sloshed, and all hell breaks loose. Yelling, screaming, the whole 9 yards. It's like she's a whole different person, you know. And suddenly, I'm left wondering where the heck it all went wrong. So here I am, trying to piece together this puzzle, figuring out what the heck is going on with my girl and our once rock-solid relationship. Man, love sure ain't easy, but hey, nobody said it would be, right? So there we were, knee-deep in a major argument, and let me tell you, it was like a storm brewing. She's all in this drunken haze, talking about leaving, and man, I'm freaking out. I mean, who wouldn't be? I'm worried sick about her driving in that state, so I'm blowing up her phone like there's no tomorrow, practically begging her to come back home. But she's in her own world, not hearing a word I'm saying. So, what do? I check her location, right? And thank the stars, it shows she's at her folks' place. So I figure, okay, she's safe, I can finally catch some shut-eye. But let me tell you, sleep was the last thing on my mind. Around 4 in the morning, something's gnawing at me, you know. So I sneak a peek at her location again, and bam, it's turned off. Cue the alarm bells, man. I'm up in a flash, throwing on clothes like my life depends on it, and out the door I go, on a mission to find her. Just as I'm about to hit the road, there she is, rolling into the driveway, looking like she's seen one too many rounds at the bar. So naturally, I hit her with the big question, where the heck have you been? She staggers into bed, trying to cuddle up like everything's hunky-dory, and then passes out cold. Now, I'm not one to go all Sherlock Holmes on my partner's phone, but desperate times call for desperate measures. You know what I'm saying? So I do a little snooping, and what do I find? Just an innocent little incoming call from a no-caller ID number, right before she rolls in at 4 a.m. Now, call me paranoid, but that's fishy as heck. But hey, I'm no drama llama, so I decide to hold off on the interrogation until she's sobered up a bit. Fast forward to the other night, and guess who decides to give me a drunken dial? That's right, the ex. Turns out she paid him a visit that same night, also 3 sheets to the wind, and they had themselves a whole emotional roller coaster. And let me tell you folks, that's just the tip of the iceberg. Who knows what other surprises await us on this crazy journey called life? But hey, ain't that just the way the cookie crumbles? My buddy spills the beans about my girl and her ex, right? According to him, they had themselves a little emotional roller coaster, laughing, crying, and heck, even smooching. He's dishing out all the deets, down to the exact minute she waltzed into his place around midnight, fresh off her visit from ours, and then, bam, she's out of there like a bat out of hell around 3:30 in the morning, all dressed up and emotional. Now, here's where things get tricky. Normally, I'm the kind of guy who sits back and lets the chips fall where they may, but this time, I couldn't just sit idly by. I had to confront her about it. So there I am, laying it all out on the table, and what does she do? She looks me dead in the eyes, tears streaming down her face, and swears up and down that none of it went down. According to her, she was chillin' at her friend's place, not cozying up to her ex. Now, let me tell ya, my heart wants to believe her. I mean, I know this girl like the back of my hand, and I just can't wrap my head around the idea of her straight up lying to me, especially with those puppy dog eyes. But then there's the cold, hard logic staring me right in the face. Her story, it's got more holes than Swiss cheese. Meanwhile, her ex? Well, let's just say he's got a reputation for spinning tall tales. So here I am, caught smack dab in the middle of a love story turned soap opera, completely torn and confused. I'm head over heels for this girl, but I can't shake the feeling that I'm being played for a fool. And let me tell you, folks, it's one heck of a gut-wrenching feeling. Now, fast forward to the update. After hearing from you fine folks and getting a healthy dose of reality check, I finally mustered up the courage to stand my ground and demand some answers. I mean, heck, a guy can only take so much uncertainty, am I right? Your unbiased opinions gave me the kick in the pants I needed to face this mess head on. So there I am, looking her straight in the eye, and I dropped the bomb. I know. And let me tell you, folks, it was like flipping a switch. She goes from tearful denial to full-on meltdown mode, getting all heated and defensive. But hey, the truth? It's got to come out sooner or later, and I ain't backing down until I get it. I am standing my ground like a champ, not letting my emotions get the best of me. I laid it all out for her, told her straight up how messed up it is for her and her ex to drag me into their drama. I mean, seriously, I never signed up for this circus. Then I hit her with the truth bomb. I told her straight up that we couldn't move an inch forward until she spilled the beans, until she came clean about what really went down that night. I made it crystal clear that I needed the whole truth, no sugarcoating, no half-truths. And let me tell you, folks, it ain't easy laying down the law like that, but sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. And you know what? It finally broke her. She cracked under the pressure, spilled the beans, and admitted she went to his place that night. Now, get this, she's trying to spin it like nothing physical went down. But come on, who's she fooling? But you know what? At this point, it doesn't even matter anymore. She broke my trust, shattered it into a million pieces, and then had the audacity to lie to my face about it. And let me tell you, folks, it's the lies that cut the deepest. I mean, I could deal with the cheating, painful as it is, but those cold-hearted lies. Nah, I'm done with that nonsense. I made up my mind then and there, ain't no turning back. I'm kicking her to the curb, and let me tell you, folks, it feels darn good to finally make that call. Now, I ain't no fool, folks. I've been around the block a few times, and you better believe I've covered my bases. Ain't no financial ties to her, no sir. Everything's in my name, 'cause, come on, I ain't about to let her mess with my hard-earned cash. So, while she's sorting out her mess and packing her bags, I'm sitting pretty, watching her scamper off like a mouse caught in a trap. So here's the takeaway for all you fine folks out there. Don't let your emotions cloud your judgment. Sometimes you gotta put your foot down, demand the truth, and make the tough calls. And let me tell you folks, it ain't always easy, but it's damn well worth it in the end. So, once again, I want to give a big ol' shout to all you folks who helped me see the light. YAL are the real MVPs, and I couldn't have done it without ya. Thanks a million, folks. Thanks a million.